Let's talk more about the nation's security challenges. Joining us is retired Flight Lieutenant Terry Ajomena. Thank you for joining us on the News at 10.
Thanks for having me, Amarachi.
We're having these attacks, it seems, almost every week, sometimes 3 to 4 times in a week and so on. It's becoming more and more concerning. An attack occurs in the IDP camp in Gudumbali, Borno State. What does that say about the country's approach to various threats?
Well, the thing about this is, as you know, and as we all know, this has been a protracted conflict. The thing about insurgencies like this is when you try to prosecute a counter-insurgency fight, as we are trying to do, there are many things that we need to take into consideration. Right now, we have a situation where the military is so far stretched. You're looking at 3 phases of a counter-insurgency: the offensive, the defensive, and then the stabilization. And we have the military doing all of this. Now, definitely it's going to have to take its toll on them. It's clear that a lot has to be done in this regard, but the thing about it is it requires the participation and the support of everybody at this stage. And we must realize that we are at war, and everyone is concerned. It affects all of us, and we all need to have that kind of mindset.
A lot of people don't want to hear that we're at war, but it does appear so. We're at war with the insurgents. I mean, the way these attacks are coming, the latest one, the insurgents were dressed as relief workers and they walked into an IDP camp just as, these relief materials were being given out to the people who need them. What does that then say about the kind of intelligence gathering that we have? If people can easily walk into a camp and dress like relief agents and then, cause havoc.
Yeah, in fact, that was the first thing that came to my mind when I heard this news. Clearly, there was some failure in intelligence. Typically, with things like this, there should have been some way of picking up things like this. Again, the complexity of the whole situation is such that even when you have good intelligence, some things are about to fall through the cracks. But definitely a lot of focus and attention has to be paid to our intelligence gathering as it concerns this fight.
One may also put some of the blame on the humanitarian workers themselves. I mean, how do you keep an eye on who are supposed to be in a particular place and so on? Could we put some of the blame on them for not being on the lookout for those who are supposed to be doing the work and those who are strange faces amongst them?
Yeah. Like I said, it's supposed to be a concerted effort. Every person who is within the theater of this fight is supposed to be able to contribute by way of information, by way of support and all of that. I don't know the facts of the details of the case, but yeah, you could say that some responsibility has to be taken by people who could have actually have helped in ensuring that the information had gotten to those who needed it to be able to defend themselves.
Well, everybody takes responsibility in this, but there are fears about the forthcoming elections, and these areas where these insurgents are attacking, elections will also hold in those areas. Should there be elections in the country in light of the security challenges that we have?
I think it may be a bit too early to make that call. We are currently engaging the insurgents, and there are many other factors that would definitely need to be considered before making such a judgment call.
These attacks are coming back to back. There was one yesterday, there was one the day before, and then, just a few minutes ago, I was passed, this information about a village. It's in the same Borno state being under attack.
Well, I guess there are people who would be thinking about these issues and be trying to make a judgment call.
What would you suggest, perhaps, if you had the opportunity of giving government some advice? What would you suggest? Because you spoke earlier about the military being bombarded in every area. They seem to be overworked. They're protecting, they're defending, they're also stabilizing. What would you suggest at this point?
Well, I think a lot has to be done to get a lot more stakeholders involved.
By stakeholders, you mean?
Yes. Naturally, we talk about the 3 pillars that hold a government, and we talk about the politics, the economy, the security. So Right now, it seems as if everything has just been left as a security operation. However, there has to be a concerted effort in those two areas so that we can achieve some balance that would enable us to keep to prosecute this. That's where I see it.
Well, let's hope everyone is listening, and let's hope everyone is doing their part to ensure that security is improved in these areas. Flight Lieutenant Terry Ajobana, thank you for joining us
Thank
on
you for
the
having
news
me.
at 10.
Yeah.